And this is the Big Idea, Big Moves podcast. This is the destination for high performers. We talk to CEOs, we talk to lots of athletes, we talk to entrepreneurs, just people doing really interesting things in their space. Find out a little bit about their journey and their story, and see how we can maybe relate some of those things back into our own lives as well. We have one of those today. Just before we jump into it, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that Thirdsy is something that we connect with as well, and because they're natural products that help athletes and high performers, so people in kind of different walks of life, get better quality rest and recovery from physical and mental stress. They have a PM recovery collagen that's melatonin free, it's sedative free, and it just helps you get good rest and also supports joint and muscle repair as well. So definitely something to take a look at, whether you're just getting ready for a busy day in the office, but it could also be that you're a high performance athlete and using it as well. We have lots of those. So if you go to thirdsy.com, you can look at it directly there, or go into our Instagram profile, and you can also use a discount code in there as well. It's BIBM20 and you get 20% off. So definitely check that out. So today, really happy that we have Vicky Peraki with us today. She's a mindset and movement coach, personal trainer, dance instructor, and now runs a successful business in Greece. And she's also a SomaFit online fitness instructor, offers her own kind of holistic online transformation program that I know we'll talk a little bit about today, where it focuses on nutrition, movement, and mindfulness. So a really nice combination there too. So first of all, thanks for taking some time with us this morning, Vicky. Really appreciate it.
No problem. No problem. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think maybe the place to start, because I know that you've kind of made a big move to another country, all of those things. So why don't you walk us back a little bit about kind of your journey to get here before we go into some of those things, and just why that move, and tell us a little bit about kind of how it happened for you.
So I'll get started. I actually originally went to school for advertising back in the day. Went to university at Laurier in Waterloo,
Hmm.
and I was working in advertising for about 6 years. And I've been a dancer since I was 3 years old, so I was always really connected to movement from a young age, and which brought me into strength training. At 15 years old, I started working myself with a personal trainer. And just seeing the results and seeing the way that my body changed, my mindset changed, that made me super passionate about fitness. And I decided to get my certification and start training myself. So I was working in advertising part-time, doing personal training. And so as you can obviously assume, 9 to 5 at the office, and then 6 to 10 at different gyms. So I came to the point where I was like looking forward to finishing work at the office so I can start training. And that was actually going on for a good year until I decided to quit the corporate world and jump into personal training and helping women, helping people transform their mind and bodies. And that brought me to being a full-time trainer, which then after a few years, I just started wanting more from life, from the big city life. Just wasn't cutting it for me anymore. I wanted to be around nature. I wanted to be around the sea. And my background is Greek. So I ended up saying, you know what, it took me a long time to make this decision, but I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? If I move to Greece, be near the sea, the worst that can happen, I don't like it, and I come back to the city, and I start doing things. I took a risk already, and that went really well for me, and I just really was feeling aligned. So in 2017, I up and left and came to Greece. I live on the island of Crete. And from there, so we're on a very small island, and I couldn't get a job at any gym, so that I didn't know anyone. You have to know someone here and I also hardly spoke Greek at the time. I speak fluently now. So everyone's like, who's this girl that's coming here? We don't even know who she is, and she's trying to get a job. So long story short, I ended up getting a job at a small bar just to meet people. And that way I started networking as a trainer, and I created my own studio here in Crete. And slowly but surely, the word got out, and I'm one of the most well-known female trainers in my town now, Rethymno. And so I'm personal training, which also went to teaching fitness classes at different gyms, getting invited to do yoga classes on different beaches, different beach bars. I go to villas for tourists. And so I'm all over the place. I'm all over the island, but it's just been such a wild ride. So it's been 6 years that I've been here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been amazing, the progress that I've made and the connections and the networking, which is a scary thing coming to somewhere that you don't know anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in, if you love what you do, that is going to come out in your work, in the progress that you see with your clients, in the connection you make with people. And it really speaks for itself. So and then I also just launched my online programs I guess we just started the first program, which was in February that started. So I did a 12-week online program. So I'm also doing the online part of things as well. So just a little bit of everything, and it's just been magical. And
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't have asked for I'm so happy with my decision.
Well, yeah, like how is that? I mean, you've mentioned that I mean, when you made the choice to go, part of it was that you wanted something different for yourself personally, like even just being out of a city, being, some of those things that you wanted to have personally. Um, how's that changed for you? I mean, now, I mean, there's the struggles of getting business going and all those things, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but even just kind of professionally, how was that to, and personally, um, has that been a big change for you in a positive way? Like, how has that impacted you personally?
You know what? I think that because I'm the type of person that I've always been, and this what I'm about to say links into your question.
Mhm.
I've been a big traveler, and I'm very connected to nature.
Yeah.
And I think that coming here, it really was the opportunity to be able to connect what I do with nature. Like I teach classes outdoors, which I mean, of course, like in Canada, we have great weather in the summer, but the beach is a 5-minute drive from me. And I teach yoga on the beach once a week here. Even in the winters, we don't get really bad winters, so we do outdoor workouts. We go for hikes. I do meditations out on the beach. So it's like I was able to connect what connects with me, which is nature and mindfulness and movement all together in one. So it's just been magical. Of course, there were challenges coming into it. I'm not going to say it was really super easy.
Yeah.
I would say one of the biggest challenges was the economy here is a lot different, of course, than
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
home. It's the money's a lot less. So, and it's something that everyone always says, it's like, well, how are you going to make money doing that? The minimum wage here starts at 700 euros a month, which is like about $1,000 a month. And that's low because there's rent and you have cars and you have supermarkets. So they're like, how are you going to make it work? And I'm the type of person that if you I'm a really strong believer in, if you love what you do and you hustle and you believe that, if you're stuck in the mindset that this is the money I'm going to make, that's how life's going to be, that's how it's going to be. But if you say, you know what, no, I'm not going to accept anything less than more for myself, and you work hard to get there, you will get there because you love what you do and you have a different belief system.
Hmm.
And I really think that's what's gotten me to where I am today. Like, I'm still able to travel and do all my road trips and, live the life and feel like I'm still on vacation, but I work my ass off. Sorry if I'm allowed to
Yeah.
say that on the
It's
podcast,
okay.
but
Yeah.
I work so many hours a day and
Yeah.
I bust it here. But it really pays off. And yeah, so I would say it was challenging kind of getting started from somewhere where I wasn't in the best place
Yeah.
financially. But I was like, I'm not going to settle for this. And I just kept pushing and kept working. And, a mix of everything with all the classes and the online and the dance and all that. It's been amazing. So the
Yeah.
progress has been magical.
Good.
It's been
Well, and
abundant.
yeah, and so I guess that's the part that I'd be interested in too, is that you've had a lot of things you started. So when you do that, how did you learn? How do you approach finding out how to do an online business? That a lot of people, it's just, oh my gosh, how do I do that? What has been your kind of method at being able to figure things out and be successful in doing so?
It was specifically for the online part, it was
Mhm.
very intimidating at first,
Yeah.
and it's something that I wanted to do for a long time. I always kind of like how can I word this? So I'm good on social media. Like I'm good with content creation. So, and I'm good with technology. So that part I knew that I could figure out. And I just did my research. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And I am lucky to have a very, very close family member of mine who just moved here 2 years ago as well. She is fully in the online business. So she helped me out to get a sales page going. I found a platform that worked for me and what would work for my program best. I did a lot of research on that. And then just linking the two. And then, of course, it was a huge learning curve. But you know what? Like I said, at the end of the day, if you put your mind to it, you're going to figure it out. If you want it bad enough, you're going to figure it out. Of course, there are learning curves, but those learning curves are what you need to get through in order to get where you want to be. And I'm still going through it because I'm working on building a second program now alongside the 12-week challenge that I have. And just building the second program on the same platform, like I'm still trying to figure that out. So, and it's definitely a learning curve, but you got to take risks, and there's no growth in sitting inside your comfort zone. And if you want to get to big places, you need to step outside that bubble.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
now, are you because obviously you've got lots of things you want to do, and you are achieving a lot of those. When it comes to setting goals for yourself, things like that, are you a come as it may kind of person? Are you very intentional? Are you write down and set your goals down on paper kind of person? How do you approach that, Vicky?
I am a big write down your goals on paper type of person. I am also big on like vision boards. I think that once you believe something for yourself, and especially writing it down, it's actually been proven that when you write something on paper,
Hmm.
you are 80%, your brain is 80% more um, sure to believe that and to achieve that. So I write it down. I'm not the person who will write it down every day. I do my mindfulness in the mornings, meditation. I journal in the mornings for, everything that I'm grateful for, what I want to achieve in the day. Small steps is important because it's really overwhelming to be like, I want to be here in 5 years and I want to have all these things accomplished. It's about little steps. Like, today I'm going to research this for my second program. I'm going to, baby steps. So you're not feeling overwhelmed. But I'm a big advocate of writing things down because it's like putting it on paper. It's making it official.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's for me, that's what's worked for me personally.
Well, and one of the things with your programs and some of the things that you do is there's not just that obviously there's the fitness component, but there's all the other stuff, whether it's nutrition, but also the other one that I thought was interesting is you kind of look at mindset a little bit there. So maybe just talk about that, about how some things come very intuitively to people that, okay, I have a fitness program, here you go, I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. How do you kind of connect in mindset and mindfulness, I guess, into your practices that way?
I love this question because I think mindfulness is sometimes more important than the movement. Because if somebody is and that's something that like here in Crete especially, they're not used to that. They're a bit behind
Hmm.
because it's an island and it's Greece, so they're not used to meditation and journaling. And so I think that mindfulness, or I know that mindfulness is more important because at the end of the day, whatever you are speaking to yourself, that's what your body is going to believe, and that's what your mind's going to believe. The mind body connection is so important because yeah, you can be moving, you can be working out, but if you're not understanding why you're doing this and why you're trying to do this, not only to feel to look better, of course, like this aesthetic part, but to feel better, to be able to do everyday things. If you have children, to play with your children in without huffing and puffing,
Hmm.
to be able to go grab something from above a cupboard and not struggling. And the mindfulness portion of things, it's really about being intentional of why you're doing this and what are your intentions for your body, what are your intentions for your mind. And in my program, I work a lot with meditation, with journaling as well, because writing down things that you're grateful for your body, because we're not supposed to be moving our bodies because we hate it. We're supposed to be moving our bodies because we're sending love to it. So really shifting your mind and being able to um, really believe that, because I think that a lot of people go into these programs because they're like, I want to lose 5 pounds because I want to fit better in a dress, which is fine, or look better in a dress, which is great. But it's also, why do you want to look better in a dress? Like, what's that going to make you feel? And what do you love about your body now? Because the more that we're grateful for things, the more things that our, experience will bring us to be grateful for. So I think that it's one of the most important aspects of movement as well. For my last point of that,
Yeah.
when you're stressed out and when you're not in a calm state, your cortisol levels are here, and any goals that you want to reach are going to be a lot tougher. So meditation, journaling helps you control anxiety, helps you control your moods. And when you're in a better mood, you're going to feel better, you're going to look better, and your results will come a lot quicker. So that's in a nutshell
Yeah. Yeah.
how the mindfulness portion is important.
Well, I mean, it's nice that that is kind of a key piece of it. The other side is that you've already said you're on a small island, and you are probably doing things that maybe are relatively new even there. So, how do you kind of connect it? Like, how important has your network been, or how did you connect with mentors and things like that to figure some of this stuff out when you're in an area where maybe you don't have as many of those as options for
So that's another really good question. So that was a big challenge for me because
you.
even the type of dance that I teach here, it's high heels, so it's very feminine, it's very sexy. And here they have kind of a mindset, the traditional mindset, the Cretan traditional is, the women are like, they need to be covered up, which I'm not saying that everyone should go out with like, everything out, but they're should be in the kitchen. They're there to, have children and be mothers, which I agree with. Like, we have the motherly instincts and that nurture in us as women, but it's almost looked down upon to feel confident and be sexy and be an entrepreneur and be like, running after your goals. It's intimidating. And it's very hard to find here, in seeing women who are, you know, are just going for it and, owning that confidence and being feminine and being in their feminine energy, because it's scary to do that when that's not what the normal is. So connecting with people, I've been very lucky with the network of people that I've met here. I've
Mhm.
also did a lot of research. I'm in a group called Connected Crete. So it's people who are either here or that are have moved here from other countries that are more into mindfulness movement. And that was a great way to network. So honestly, I feel like the internet it's very, very beneficial for that, because you can connect with people.
Yeah.
And just finding like-minded women, because I work with a lot of women because of, working at the
Sure.
gyms and at the dance studio. I was lucky enough to meet a great group of people who have helped me and, understand that mindset, and I've helped them as well. So it's been a win-win. But there definitely is people that are like, she's a fitness trainer, she has 7,000 followers on Instagram, she's a heels dancer, like that's not like cool, or that's kind of looked down upon. So, but you know
Mhm.
what? That's who I am, and that's how I am where I am today. And I mean, I'm 10 steps forward than a lot of people in terms of where I am with my business. And I wouldn't be as grateful as I am in this position if it wasn't for the way that I am. So I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what do you hope to be able to accomplish over the next little while? Because obviously you've kind of started building, kind of multiple programs now and things like that. Like, have you really thought through, hey, I'm going to be doing this in this many years, or is it kind of, you do a piece and then figure it out? What's that like?
So the big dream
Mhm.
for me is I want to build the online portion over time. I want to kind of that to be my main focus.
Mhm.
And basically what I want to do for the winter months, I want to be able to travel a little bit more and have a bit more time freedom, because now, I have personal training clients at my studio.
Sure.
I'm already cutting down a couple classes at the dance, so just so I can start potentially having more time freedom in the winter time to travel and explore. I'm a big adventurer. I'm big on culture, and I feel like you learn a lot about yourself by learning things about others and
Yeah.
stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then in the summer months, focusing on, because I work with a lot of villas. I do personal training, yoga, meditations, and aqua aerobics with villas. I have an Airbnb experience here in Crete that people can book me on the beach for yoga and stretching or Pilates. So I want to focus on the tourism a bit more in the summertime, and then have my online program be kind of my main focus for time time freedom. So that's kind of the dream, like a bit of time freedom. Because here in the summer, it's paradise. There's no point in leaving because it's such a beautiful island. There's so much to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like not the goal for right now. So I'm kind of working towards that.
Yeah. Now you
Yeah.
did mention your biggest challenge, I think, but even just is there something that surprised you as, wow, I thought this was going to be easy and this was super hard for me? Or, and was it a business thing to learn, or was it something else that really kind of, made you think, wow, this is way more difficult than I thought it was going to be?
So I'll touch base on two different ones that were two different things, sorry, that were a bit more challenging for me and that were tougher than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
I thought I could come here and just get a job at a gym like this,
Yeah.
and it would be like, I'll just get a job at a gym to start to meet people. It was really hard because I, first off, didn't know anyone. So, and they didn't know me. So they were like, we have no way of knowing if she's good at what she does. Secondly, my Greek was very, very broken when I first came here. So I did not know how to teach or, guide people in Greek,
Yeah.
even like to movements, straighten out your spine or keep your weight in your heels and that kind of thing. Like that was tough for me. So I think the language barrier was a bit of a challenge at first. But slowly but surely, I picked up on it. As the more you speak a language you don't know and it's around you all the time, the more you're going to pick up on it. So that was fine, and that changed, and I speak fluently now.
Yeah.
And the second thing that's not so much fitness oriented was the systems here. That the systems here, it's like that's one thing I could say that maybe Toronto, North America is more organized. Like you want to get some sort of paperwork done. Everything's in one building. You go and you get it done within, let's say, like a couple hours.
Yeah.
Here, you want to get one thing done. You got to go to like 6 different offices, and then you got to get like 4 things signed, and then go to 5 different offices. And everyone here is on island time, Jamie. Like everybody, I am so disciplined with my program and my scheduling, and I'm on time with everything, and everyone here is late. Whether that's for clients, whether that's for I need a plumber to come fix something in my apartment. It's just so interesting, and it's just funny. So that
Yeah.
was I'm still trying to adjust to that part because
Yeah.
I'm like very, very disciplined with my time. But yeah, I would say those were two, I guess, challenges that were
Yeah.
interesting to deal
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, interesting because it's not just moving kind of within your country and things feeling comfortable and that kind of thing. It's just so different sometimes when you move cultures too. Um,
Exactly.
and so the other thing is that you've obviously got lots going on that way, and I know you do kind of your own practices, and you probably have your own fitness that you want to make sure you've got the what you're doing you're doing it properly.
Mhm.
How do you balance those things? I mean, you've already talked about you're starting to try to figure out how can you back off on some things and so that you can have more, travel time and stuff like that. But how do you even just do it generally where you can kind of fit in your work, your own stuff, probably a bit of a social life, all of those things. How do you approach that?
Everybody asks me this question because they're like, you do so many things. How do you even balance it? And like I mentioned earlier, I'm really organized when it comes to my scheduling, and I'm very disciplined when it comes to my fitness my personal fitness, because it's one thing to be teaching fitness classes and be dancing 6 hours a week and, being
Yeah,
physical in that way. But it's different because I also I don't want to lose muscle mass. I want to, there's certain my personal goals that I still have. And I need to continue to work on those. So that's why I know that I need to make time for my own workouts and for my personal time, because for me, that's also it's therapeutic to have my own time because I'm
sure.
working with people all day. So basically, how my schedule is, it's I have clients in the morning. I have a break. I work a split shift. I have a break in the afternoons. Afternoons are always workout, cook lunch, rest a little bit, maybe pop over to the beach if I have time. And then back to work in the evenings from like 7 to like 10 or something like that.
Mhm.
So I'm just very organized with my schedule. Weekends, I'm out. I'm all about balanced lifestyle. I'm a big, I love going out for drinks with my friends, going out for dinners. And I make it work. I make it work. Even with resting, I sleep well. I'm able to nap throughout the week because we're big on siestas here in Europe.
Yeah.
And I definitely have come accustomed to that lifestyle of the siestas. And I'm not complaining. I love my naps.
Yeah.
But I mean, balance, it's all about balance. At the end of the day, I'm a big on the 80-20 rule. So 80%, lifestyle, discipline, fitness, taking care of like your body, your mind, and 20%, going out, having your fun, having your drinks, eating your burgers, like doing, you know what I mean? Like drinking a beer and doing, but people are so, it's like, you can't do that if you are into fitness or if you want
Yeah.
to succeed in life. 80-20, everything is about balance and you got to be organized.
Yep.
You got to
Yep.
be organized.
Yep.
So yeah, but putting yourself first is really important, and having your goals and your discipline is top priority for sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so the one thing that we ask every guest that we come in here, we try to, and you've already given some of those, and I'm sure they'll be able to, people will be able to follow up about it as well. But one of the things is obviously people hearing your story about a big move and things like that. I'm sure there's lots of people listening that it might not be as big as yours, moving countries, but it might be moving a job. It might be just tackling something that maybe scares them a little bit. And do you have a couple of tips from somebody who's done that that you can kind of pass on about, how do you get yourself to a place where you're a little more comfortable than maybe you were before about tackling something big like that?
So I would say that one of the most important things is listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, because that little voice in your belly knows always what's best. And if it's telling you to do something, you're really feeling aligned to it. Of course, sit with it, meditate with it, write it down, write down the pros and cons. But at the end of the day, always go after what you love, do what you love, because that is the only way that you will be successful. And that love and that passion will always will always come up for your own benefit. So take that risk. Life is way too short to live in your comfort zone. And you don't want to let years go by and then be like, what if I did that? And I wish I did that. You can always go back. If the worst thing that could happen, it didn't work out and something else will. So always listen to your intuition, follow your heart, and I promise that everything will be just fine. That is what I can give as my piece of advice.
And that's great. I mean, I think that's an important part of it. Is sometimes there is a bit of a, you have to just make the leap and go from there. So
Exactly.
so if people are looking, because obviously people will probably want to find out more about, your programs, what you're doing, how to follow you, and see some of the things that you're doing. What are the best ways of doing that, Vicky?
So you can reach out to me anytime. My Instagram is Vicky, Vicky_Paraki, Peraki. You can get any information there on my programs. I'm launching my next round, my 12-week challenge, movement and mindset. It's for tightening and toning the body, all about strength work, Pilates, mobility, meditations, journaling, nutrition tips. It's great. All the women who have joined have actually just joined for a second round, which is actually coming to an end soon. So September, I will be releasing the dates for my new programs. So please reach out to me anytime. Please give me a follow, and I'll be able to help you guys out with any questions that you have.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
what we'll do as well is we'll put those in the show notes. So
Okay.
if you missed that, those people who are listening, just click through there and you'll be able to click through to Vicky's Instagram page, and everything is there that you can kind of follow up on as well. But again, obviously you're busy, but you made time for us in your schedule. So
Of course,
really
my
appreciate that,
pleasure.
Vicky. Thanks so
My,
much for it.
it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. So
All
good.
right. And to everybody
Awesome.
else, if you haven't hit subscribe on the podcast, do that now because we have great people every week, just like Vicky. And other than that, we will talk again soon on Big Idea, Big Moves.